It's the new season and I'm going to be walking to every Premier League club in London on Don Robbie's football march to raise awareness and money for Prostate Cancer UK. I'm going on the ultimate scouting mission to find out what our London rivals have got in store this season. I'll be giving my passion a football purpose by supporting one of my favourite charities, Prostate Cancer UK. Did you know that prostate cancer is the most common cancer in men? 1 in 4 black men will get prostate cancer, and that's double the risk of white men. Don Robbie's football march is about raising funds to find better tests and treatments to save men's lives. So how can you help? Keep an eye out for the updates, share my stories about my challenge, and sponsor me to help me save men's lives. Search Don Robbie's football march on Just Giving or check out the links in my bio. I can't wait. AFTV got Julian, friendly win, 2-0 against Lyon. Are we looking ready for you?
Yes, I believe so, but there was a few concerns, and the concerns were similar to last season. If you look at the goals that we scored, they were both set pieces, very similar. Nothing wrong with scoring set pieces, a goal is a goal. But for all our possession, and we had a lot of possession, and most of our play was exquisite. I'm not sure how good the opposition are. When you look at what they've done towards the end of last season, it was quite exceptional. I think that from April onwards, they only lost 1 game against PSG. So they were really a form team. But I think it's a reflection probably of Lyon, of how good they were. There was 2 players in the Arsenal team, which was Zinchenko and Partey. Now, between the 2 of them, they only had 1 misplaced pass. I just think that Lyon weren't putting Arsenal under the kind of pressure that we'll see in the Premier League. So although I'm always happy with a win, I'm not sure how much of a test that was, although it should have been. You can't fault Arsenal for what they did, but I'm not sure how well Lyon played, as in they didn't really press Arsenal. Yeah,
but overall, and you've been at every friendly. You know, I mean, the ones over in America and the ones here, you know, they've been the games that have been chosen have been against very good sides, so teams that are going to really test Arsenal. Do you think that going into next week now against Wolves, the team looks like, they're ready to go against Wolves?
Yeah, I absolutely do. I mean, the 2 players that you were concerned about before was Rice and Saka, because of the amount or the lack of preparation that both of them have had. Now, both those players played the majority of that game. I think they both came off with about 20 minutes to go. Both of them got time from the first game as well. So you'd have thought that both of them have had 2 games and they didn't come back unfit. You know, the days of players coming back unfit for pre-season seem to have gone. They were playing competitive football less than a month ago. So both of them looked ready, and they were the big concerns. So that the team for me looks ready.
Yeah, and Calafiori, finally we saw his debut today. Listen, we didn't get a long time to have a look at him, but in the short space of what you saw, did you like what you saw?
Yeah, I mean, what you've got is a large, physically imposing player that he's got timing as well. If you notice, when he puts a tackle in, his timing is exquisite. He knows exactly how to tackle. He can also carry the ball forward. I think when I looked at his stats from last season, of all the players defensively, he created more chances than any player in the top 5 European leagues for carry-throughs from defence. So he's got that in his locker as well. And from the sort of short time, it was about 20 minutes again that we saw him, he looked the part. And the other thing was his enthusiasm when he came on. He looked like he really wanted to prove a point. He understands that he's not going to, however good he is, he's not walking into this team.
Yeah. Well, listen, it starts next week. Wolverhampton Wanderers' first game. We got a hard start. Villa, Brighton, then Spurs and Man City. Out of those 5 games, what are you looking at out of and I know obviously that you want the maximum, but what are you looking at out of those 5 games? Because that's a tough start for Arsenal.
All right, I don't think it's that tough, apart from the Man City. You can't say Brighton at home is that tough. You definitely...
Right, well, apart from last season, they've got a good record against us at the Emirates. Villa beat us home and away last season. Spurs is always a tough game away from home, and so is City. That is a tough start.
City, I'll give you. But the other teams, I think there's just as many teams around those teams that are as good as them. It's an average start. And yes,
the Spurs away, Villa away, they beat us home and away last season. That's an average start.
Okay, The Villa, I get what you're saying, but they were great last season. Other seasons they haven't been that great. So if you judge it on last season, I would agree with you. Spurs the last few seasons hasn't been that. It's been one of our easier games. I mean, last season we went to Spurs, we were 3-0 up at half time. It could have been more, and yes, we let them back into it. But I didn't see them as being a great team.
So how many points out of those games?
I would say that we'll draw at City and we'll win the other 4, and it would be a good start. That's what I'll be looking for.